Hello there, people of the internet. I have done a couple of polls, not too terribly recently, but fairly recently. And one of the polls that I had done was I was asking people about the effectiveness of the AR versus bolt-action rifles, or just semi-automatics versus bolt-action rifles in general. And a lot of people seem to think that bolt-action rifles are dramatically more accurate than semi-automatics. Now, whenever I compare bolt-actions to semi-autos, many times just because I'm a military surplus nut, many times I will compare old military surplus rifles to modern fighting rifles. Like this right here is an old school fighting rifle fed by stripper clip, 8mm Mauser. This one's been sporterized though. But I'll compare old school fighting rifles to new modern fighting rifles, and this right here is not necessarily a fighting rifle. This right here is more of a poverty build that I use on the gun range, but we're going to use this to represent because this is just what I have out here. But whenever I make these comparisons, people seem to think that these are dramatically more accurate and capable out at long distances than these right here. Now, if you had yourself a modern bolt-action rifle with a proper scope that was properly seated, free-floating barrel, all of the bells and whistles and whatnot, that fired a modern flat-shooting cartridge, like I know the 6.5 Creedmoor is tremendously better at long distance than 8mm Mauser, and you just had all the modern attributes, is that the word I'm looking for? That doesn't quite sound right. If you had all the modern attributes of, all these modern things on your rifle, then I could see that being more accurate than your iron-sighted or red-dotted AR platform. However, whenever people talk about these rifles being capable out at longer distances, I don't think that they really understand what that means. Like, for example, I'll talk about these old-school Milsurps. And these old-school Milsurps, as a general rule, there are exceptions, of course, but as a general rule for the standard infantry rifle, we're about 3 MOA accuracy. Your budget AR platform is about 3 MOA accuracy. As far as accuracy is concerned, they're both going to be relatively the same. And a lot of these people think that you need a full power rifle cartridge to reach out to these exceptional distances. Like, for example, we're just going to spitball with 1,000 yards. They think you need a full power rifle to reach out to 1,000 yards. But I have seen, literally with my own eyes, and you can look it up on YouTube, just type into YouTube channel, the YouTube search bar, AR-15 at 1,000 yards, and you'll see people running the 223-5.56 AR platform at 1,000 yards, making hits on targets, and doing it very effectively. Now, it all depends on the AR that you have. If you have yourself a budget AR that's like 3 MOA, that's 3-inch groups at 100 yards, that's going to be like 30-inch groups at 1,000 yards. That's not necessarily something that I would want to use in a long-range shooting situation, especially if my opponent has a sub-MOA firearm. This right here is a sub-MOA firearm. This AR-15, this budget build, PSA upper, KP-15 lower, I've literally made videos on me getting sub-MOA groups out of this thing. I'll use 193 brass case ammunition, and this right here just seems to really, really like the 55 grain projectiles. If I use steel case ammo, then I do not get the sub-MOA groups. I do have steel case ammunition out here with this thing, but I have made videos of me. As a matter of fact, I think my last one was a collaboration that I made with a bunch of other YouTubers. We were doing accuracy testing, seeing how accurate we could get. And, well, for the most part, I run this cheap steel case stuff for my YouTube videos because, hey, we're at 40-ish yards, and I'm just going to clink some steel and talk about some stuff, so this cheap steel case stuff works just fine. I get about 3 MOA out of this rifle with this cheap steel case stuff. But you throw good ammunition inside of an AR, even if it is like a budget build like this one right here, and you'd be amazed at just how accurate you can get. For example, the accuracy I got out of this was 8.88 inches at 100 yards and 0.44 inches at 50 yards. So that equates to a sub-MOA gun because it is below 1 inch at 100 yards. If we were to bump that out to 1,000 yards, well, let's see, that's 100, add a 0, so that'd be 8.8 inches at 1,000 yards. If you have somebody who is a perfect shooter, I am not, I could never pull that off. I am lucky to be able to pull off, MOA groups at 100 yards. There's no way in hell I'd be able to shoot at 1,000 yards. But you get yourself a good, accurate rifle a good accurate AR-15, like this one right here has shown itself to be, and you get yourself good accurate ammunition, like 193 has shown to be inside of this rifle, and you get yourself an optic or something, like a 15 power scope or something that can hold a 0 very, very well, and you'd be amazed at just how accurate these rifles can be and just how long of a distance you can hit with these rifles. Now, 223-556 relies on velocity to be able to deliver terminal damage to its target, and so as a result, whenever it makes impact to its target at extremely long distances, it loses a lot of velocity, so it loses a lot of its effectiveness on its target. However, it still puts a hole inside of that target whenever it makes impact. I still would not want to get hit by it. It's not going to cause a traumatic wound cavity, what's the word I'm looking for? Temporary wound cavity, like a normal 223-556 would within like 400 yards or so. Once a projectile drops below about 22-ish 100 feet per second, it loses the ability to stretch out soft organic tissue beyond the point of its ability to stretch out. So as a result, it loses its effectiveness to really do damage onto its target, but it's still going to poke a hole in that target. Like I said, I do not want to get hit by something like that. So yes, it absolutely can be done. I have seen it. You can go out and see it. Literally just type into YouTube AR-15 at 1,000 yards, and you'll see people shooting the AR-15 accurately at 1,000 yards, making hits on their target. It can be done. And well, a lot of times, if we're just comparing the AR platform to the old school military surplus, especially modern-made AR platforms, modern-made ARs that use decent quality ammunition. I just had a bug fly in my mouth. If you're using a decent AR that is decently accurate with decent quality ammunition, a lot of times these right here, although they're semi-automatic platforms, will actually achieve better accuracy than a lot of your old school Milsurps bolt action rifles, or even a lot of your modern-made budget bolt action rifles. Like, I know I had a Savage Arms a while ago, and it was like a 4 MOA rifle, and I mean that was decent enough for the amount of money that you spend on it. I had a Mossberg Patriot that was just absolutely abysmal. I got like 10 MOA accuracy out of that thing. I sold that thing like after a month of getting it. I don't think I even bothered showing it off on this channel. But I got one of those Tompus Center 308 bolt action rifles that had the little rotary magazine inside of it. I got about 4 MOA out of that gun as well. Actually I haven't tested out this particular Mauser, but I got a Yugoslavian 2447 that I got about 3 MOA out of, and I got a Kar 98 that I get probably about 5 MOA out of. Just because it's a bolt action rifle does not mean that it's going to be tremendously accurate. Now, if you get yourself a good quality bolt action rifle and you spend a decent amount of money on it, or you get yourself one that is like extremely well made, like I know a lot of your old 1903 Springfields back in the day, those were extremely well made, or a lot of your Schmid-Ruben straight pull rifles like the K31s, those are extremely well made. And so as a result, you get this extremely accurate rifle. Well, if you go the other end of the spectrum and you get yourself an extremely well-made AR-15, you can get yourself an extremely accurate rifle as well. Even if it is in 223-556, you use decent quality ammunition, and my God, some of the things that you can pull off with that rifle are absolutely insane. So we're at about 40 yards here. Obviously, this is not going to be an accuracy test, but I am going to shoot some stuff because, hey, I have this YouTube channel, and may as well send some lead downrange. We got a couple of critters flying in. Oh, ducks. We got ducks in the pond. That's awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and send some steel case 223 ammunition downrange through this poverty-built AR platform. This right here would normally pull off, like I said, about 3 MOA groups, but at 40 yards, that's like 1.5 inches. I think I'm offhanding it, so probably about 4 inches. And that's plenty to hit this 12-inch steel target. I really like this rifle. With the full-length barrel, you get all of the capabilities of the 223, and you don't really lose anything like you do if you were to cut your barrel down to, oh, I don't know, the 16 inches or so. So we fired out of that one. Let's go ahead and send a couple of rounds here out of my Turkish Mauser, because, hey, I've already fired corrosive ammunition through this thing. This would be more effective if it hit its target at long ranges, just because the projectile is going to be more powerful. The 223 that we just fired is a 55 grain projectile, since it's steel case, and I'd say probably about 3,000, maybe 3,100 feet per second. I haven't actually chronographed it, but around that mark-ish or so. Well, this right here is 155 grain projectiles traveling at about the same speed. So 3 times the mass, so that is significantly more energy on target because we are traveling at about the same speed. This right here is definitely a much, much harder hitting round than the 223-556. But you can still hit with the 223-556 accurately out at long distances. Although this right here will be more effective whenever it actually hits its target. Here we go. Oh, buried fire. Stand here for a second. Yep, I don't think this one's gonna go off. Okay, let's eat that one right there. Perfect. Yeah, that looks safe. Just gonna put that on the ground. There we go, that one fired. And that one nailed our poor steel target down there with a force to be reckoned with. Oh, that poor steel target has been through so much. Okay, let me grab this round here. Whenever I get rounds that don't fire, I take them and I reload them. Yeah, that's plenty of impact on the primer, so this one's just a dud. Any of the people that go into my comments section and they tell me that the AR is inaccurate and incapable, and bolt actions are more accurate, nah, they're really not. Not with the modern manufacturing that is available. If you go high end to high end or low end to low end, even with modern made stuff, then we're still talking about relatively the same levels of accuracy. Get yourself a low-end bolt-action rifle and a low-end AR, they're going to be roughly 3 MOA accuracy. You get yourself a high-end AR or a high-end bolt-action rifle, put yourself a scope on both of those rifles that are of equivalent power, and you'd be amazed at the levels of accuracy that you can achieve with the AR. Maybe not amazed with the levels of accuracy that you would achieve with the bolt-action because you would come to expect it. But people seem to think that the AR is like just this random spray and pray weapon. They seem to think that the AR has like this group size that is equivalent to a 12 gauge, and it's simply not. You can achieve some incredible accuracy with your AR out at some pretty substantial distances. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have an AR that is superbly accurate? I know that I do. This right here is a very, very accurate AR that I have achieved incredible groups with and at some significant distances, and I know for a fact that I would be able to get pretty incredible groups out at even further distances if I had the means to do so. I just have a little 100-yard range right here, so I don't really, well, I don't really shoot much farther than that because I don't really go out to other places. I don't have access to other longer ranges, so I'm limited to my 100-yard range. So I can't really attest for anything beyond 100 yards with this right here, but with the group sizes that I have seen and just with the shooting that I have done, hey, this right here should be able to handle at some very significant distances if I'm using decent quality ammo. That being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You guys are normally pretty good at doing that. I'm going to go do something, probably charge this camera because it appears to be dying, grab some more ammunition, make some more videos. I got a few more spicy videos coming up that I think are going to rustle some feathers. I'm sure this one's probably rustled a couple of feathers as well because people in this community simply do not want the AR to be any good, and the fact of the matter is it's one of the best. So, thanks for watching, appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share, description below has a link to all sorts of stuff, go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you all in the next episode. Since I've done this.
Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.